Philosophy. I got three more questions. I'm going to jump right in. Two of them are the ones that I didn't answer last time. Question number one. You always answer three questions. Well, not always. Why is three such an important number to people? In most cultures, things often can be divided into threes. Very often, past, present, future. You're born, you live, and you die. Stories have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So it's a very common thing in nature to see things divided into three, particularly abstract things. And that's one of the reasons why three has sort of a magical connotation. It tends to be found among things that are not physical. Things that are physical usually have one or two components, or many. For example, humans are bilaterally symmetrical. So we have two legs and two arms and two eyes and two nostrils and things of that sort. Two bicuspids, which you can't see because my mustache is covering. We tend to have two of things. And then for other asymmetrical creatures, or for creatures for whom that symmetry fuses at a certain point, like the torso, then things are often divided into one. But three is more applicable to abstract things, stories, life processes, things of that sort. And lastly, and I think more importantly, three sets a pattern. And what I mean by that is if you hear something once or you see something once, it can be random. And if you hear or see something twice, it could be a coincidence. But if you see or hear something three times, it's deliberate. It's an actual pattern. Patterns start at three, if you think about it. And that's another reason, it's like, for example, if you hear a gunshot in the woods, somebody fired a gun. If you hear two gunshots, somebody fired a gun twice. But if you hear three gunshots, somebody needs help. It's deliberate. It's a pattern. It means something. So I hope that answers that question. Why do so few animals give live birth? Well, eggs are just really useful. If you think about it, you're taking resources and you're allocating them from your own body to nurture another organism. And so if you can provide just enough resources for that organism to develop fully to the point that it can be independent, then an egg is really, really handy for that. And even more so with parasites that don't do that. They don't provide enough nutrients on their own. They'll lay their eggs in other eggs or in another organism. So that'll provide the nutrients. In other words, they're not footing a heavy bill. Parasites aren't footing the bill hardly at all. They're getting a huge discount. And then animals that lay eggs, they're footing the bill for just enough to accomplish what needs to be accomplished. Whereas, the viviparous animals like us, it's a much heavier cost, but it also has its own advantages. Namely, it is important for a species to propagate itself, and so it is an important investment as far as that goes. So I think the reason why eggs are so common is because they are very good at accomplishing what they need to do, and being viviparous is just a more new, cutting edge evolutionary technology, if you want to look at it that way. And it's one that's very beneficial. The only challenge with it is there can be problems with the actual process itself that you don't see nearly as much in egg laying, but still the risks outweigh the rewards. And perfect example of that is, mammals sort of won the evolutionary arms race during the Ice Age, and that was a big part of it. So hope that answers that question. My cat sometimes looks at me and slowly closes their eyes, and I don't know what that means. I do know what that means, so you'll know what that means in a moment. Here's the thing about animal communication. It tends to, there's always little things here and there that are unique to a certain species, even though it makes sense evolutionarily to be observed in other species. An interesting example would be a smile is a very unique pattern. And it's something we recognize quickly. Well, in other primates, it's usually a threat or a warning, whereas for us, and this is largely mimetic, it has turned into an indication of happiness. And in the case of cats, a slow blink, if you think about it, what they're really doing is they are making themselves vulnerable for a moment. So it's kind of like a trust fall for a cat. what your cat is doing is they're actually telling you, no joke, that they trust you, that they feel safe around you. So it's a very nice little affectionate thing. In my opinion, dogs, when they sit on a person's lap, they'll shift all their weight onto them temporarily, and that's sort of like a hug from a dog. That's how they do that. They actually don't really like being hugged for the most part. I don't think it's like abusive to hug a dog. I'm just saying that they're not very big fans. That's how they hug. I would say that that's sort of a cat's hug, is the slow blink. So, yeah, like, share, subscribe, keep asking questions. Bye.